Yo, it is apparent to me that one of the frauditor channels, one of the bootlicking channels, the one that worship law enforcement, has shared my video. Because they're all on the channel now. Oh, you don't know the law. Boo-hoo. You deserved it. You're driving down the road with a cell phone recording. That's a crime. It is amazing to me the cognitive dissonance that these idiots in America are under. We just heard from the DOJ, Department of Government Accountability, or I think that's it. Anyway, we just learned from them that the federal government is paying news agencies to spread their propaganda. We just learned this. But yet here we are in America today, when the bootlickers get a piece of flesh. And this is what they do. You know why cops are out of control in America? Because of bootlickers. Because as long as there's the bootlickers there to praise them for what they do, they think it's okay. It could be one bootlicker out of 1,000. See, that guy right there, he agrees with me that cops are the good guys, and if you just obey the law. See, nobody puts thought into what laws should be there or not. These bootlickers don't understand that there are men in high places, men and women, unfortunately, in high places that the only goal of their position is to generate revenue for the state, no matter how immoral or moral that law may be. So here's the bootlickers. You deserve that. Wait a second. I deserve what? I ask a question and I deserve to get arrested. Asking a question gets you to deserve to get arrested. I've already shown the law when it comes to black powder pistols. That wasn't an illegal arrest. It was unlawful, according to North Carolina state law. Nowhere in the state law, as the magistrate quoted, and I haven't shared that because it's got a lot of personal information. I don't have a way to edit it. But under North Carolina state statute, it says nothing about black powder firearms being in the concealed weapon category. It lists, it's got like 10 different things. And it says antique firearms are exempt from this statute. The magistrate said, well, if it if it has a projectile in it and it can kill you, that's considered a weapon in North Carolina. No, it's not. It's not. So that magistrate's he's gonna have himself a little road to hoe. Because see, the whole point of what the lawyer and the attorney did was to try to kill my standing in court to be able to sue. That's the whole point. We get a dangerous gun off the street, and we'll diminish his ability to sue. Well, courts now are looking at, it doesn't even matter if you get convicted of it or not. If it's an unjust abuse of power, then it's unjust. This is what the bootlickers don't understand. They think that anything a cop says is a lawful order. It's their ignorance of the law to the reason America's in the shape it is today. They think, well, that cop told you to do something. If you don't get down and suck the goddamn paint off his boot, suck the polish off his boot, then you deserve to go to jail. This is the mentality. These people have been brought up, and just like James Friedman says, back the blue until it happens to you. Because guess what? In America, I can find 1,000 videos to one that shows law enforcement. Well, it's because people just don't know the law. People don't know what's right and wrong. That's not true. The bootlickers will eventually get it. It's coming for them. I have watched social media. I think I joined Facebook in 2008 or 9. And I was the only one then speaking out about a government accountability. I was the only one then speaking out about this corrupt police state that we're under. I was the only one in the comment section, and everybody was attacking me. Well, see, these frauditor and these bootlicker channels, they don't care. All they see, law enforcement, and it's usually little men. The kind of men who call law enforcement because they need another man to handle their man business. That's all it is. They've been taught by mom and daddy that, oh, the cops are the good guys and the doctors and nurses keep us safe, and the first responders, the military. They've been trained that. Their mom and dad sits at home every night. Dad's got his hand down his dang jogging pants, rubbing his nuts while he's watching Law and Order SVU. Mom's in there dreaming about the fire dude with the dang shirt that's too tight. And they're programmed to think, oh yeah, law enforcement's the good guys. They're the good guys. It's just like the seatbelt law. Who am I endangering if I don't wear a seatbelt? Who? Who am I endangering about my tag on my car? There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of illegal aliens in America right now driving around with no insurance and no tag at all. But they don't get pulled over. They don't. If it's about safety, why aren't you pulling over everybody? Because you can't see their tag. And I'll tell you this much. If you go down my timeline of events and you watched it as it happened, you know exactly what I'm saying. You know it. I've told you the timeline. Lackluster puts a video out about a woman with an obscure tag. She gets pulled over. The ponytail pig harasses her, threatens to arrest her. The woman finally relents her rights to identify. The Fourth Amendment means something to me. It don't mean nothing to these bootlickers. The cops they're doing the right thing. They just don't even know who I am for their reporting. And anything I can do to help them, I want to help law enforcement because they're the good guys. If they're the good guys, then why hasn't crime? I mean, crime went down greatly. But what also happened as crime was falling, they militarized. As crime was going down, they got bigger and badder equipment. As crime went down, then they started calling us civilians. I am not a civilian because this is not a war zone. It is for the American people. It's not for cops. There's not a war on cops. There's no one out there hunting cops down. It's a myth. The only time that's happened was the glorious day back in Dallas when 5 law enforcement officers were cut down and eliminated by one of the Black Lives Matter guys. Sorry. That was the only time cops had ever hunted down. Doesn't happen. Yeah, they're the first one. There's a war on law enforcement. I mean, everywhere they go, don't get close to me. Don't stand back. Don't get so close. Well, I just found. Wow, that's cool. Look what I just found, guys. I just found my arrow. I was missing that. Thank you, Jesus. Cool. I did not know where that went, and now I know. Thank you. There's not a war on them. Don't get too close. Don't get too close. And anytime they pull somebody over, we're in a hurry. Hurry up, kiss my boots, lick my boots. But when you see them out somewhere where they should be working, then what do they say? When they're harassing somebody that's not breaking the law, I got all day. I get paid salary to be here. I ain't in no hurry to do nothing. It's a shame they don't use that kind of patience on us when we simply ask questions, because I'll reiterate for the bootlickers out there. If everything about that traffic stop was legit, why did they edit it? I didn't do that. I did not edit it. And somebody said, well, man, you're stupid for posting this video. It makes you look bad. Well, that's kind of the way the video was edited by law enforcement. I've got 15 videos. 2 body cams, but 15 videos? You mean they had to turn it off 15 times because of private information? Really? Because all my private information is everywhere. Tina's private information is everywhere. My son's private information. All of our private information is everywhere. So that excuse is out the window. So why? Why were they deleted? Why was the beginning of the traffic stop deleted? Because when I recalled it the next day, I said, it seemed like 38 seconds, and he was pulling me out of my truck. But what did I say before that? I said, when he pulled me over, I stepped out of my truck. Then he started screaming and yelling like a little bitch for me to get back in. So then I stepped in the car. That's when he walked up to me. That's when he said, you do not have a tag. You do not have a tag. If you tell me that I committed a crime that I did not commit, I'm going to do the same exact thing I did in this experience. I'm going to say, what's your reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime? Because my tag was on there. Now, we can go semantics with a, what do they call that? Was it a law? It's not a law. What do they call a statute? Or an ordinance? Ordinance. You can't block a tag. Well, if that's the case, they need not sell those racks in the state of North Carolina. But see, they won't do that because they generate tax revenue off that. But how many times can you go to every police department where you're at and where I'm at, and you'll find windows tinted darker than night? You'll find a rack on the back of their truck hiding their tag. You'll find all kinds of illegal crap on a cop's car. But if we do, oh God, it's time to get him. We got to see if he's going to go through the boot test. What's the boot test? Either he licks my boots or he gets to kiss them. One way or the other, he's putting his face on my boots. So why was the body cam edited? Why was the footage edited if it was a straight and legit case, if it was clean from beginning to the end, why did they not send the dash cam? The dash cam would have proved their probable cause. You know why? Because you see, my daughter has a Ford Explorer. And it's exactly like the Ford Explorer that he was in that night. And when you're at night behind my truck in a Ford Explorer, you can see right down on my tag. Clear as day. You can look right down on it. But see, when you get down here at eye level and you go, I can't see it. I can't see his tag. Just like when I told him, walk 3 steps back and you can see my tag. No, wasn't willing to do that because he knew the tag was there. He knew exactly who I was. I'll reiterate again. Lackluster had the video, and I assumed it was same North Carolina. So that's my fault. But listen to this. 3 days previous to this arrest, I was in the exact same parking lot, filming, recording a video of the drone stalking me. I stood in the parking lot right across the street. It's the same furniture warehouse. They build furniture there. It was the same furniture place. He was in the parking lot facing directly towards me, coming at him. That's what he did. He waited for me right there. And then he followed me all the way home to my driveway. Because just like the chief said, we're going to go through all your social media and find a crime. I'm paraphrasing. That's what he said. The chief of police on recording said, we're going to go through all your social media. I think you're a very dangerous man, yet I didn't fight. I think you're a very dangerous man, yet I didn't shoot you. I think you're a very dangerous man, yet I didn't resist. Anybody see me resisting? No, I didn't resist. But the delay and obstruct. In other words, if a cop says, lick my boots right now, and you don't listen, well, you just delayed him from getting his rocks off. That's why they write the laws so vague. They write them vague to give them wiggle room because guess what? If the state loses, oh well, they still get tax dollars. They still get paid. But when we lose and when we win, we still lose. We'll still lose because guess what? You know how hard it is to get justice when your civil rights have been violated in the United States? It may take 10 years down the road. Why is it when we supposedly break the law within 3 months, we're facing justice? But when law enforcement does it, it takes 10 goddamn years to go to court. Why is that? This is a question the bootlickers will never be able to answer. Because their whole frame of mind is they're just stupid. It would be no different than the Jews saying, oh, it's the Hitler. It's the guy with the cool mustache. They're here to pick us up. Look, free train rides, everybody. Let's load up. Oh, I think I'm going to take my gold teeth out and my silver teeth out and give them to them. Here's my teeth. Here's my daughter. Would you like to experiment on her, sir? Please, Mr. Nazi. Please, Mr. Gestapo. Experiment on my daughter for the good of humanity. I mean, I'm just a lowly rat. That's what we Jews, we're rats. We're serious, we're rats. The Gestapo, they know we're rats and we need to be exterminated. These are the bootlickers of our time. Now, as I said before, there's less and less of them. But these are the people who were bullied in school. The majority of these bootlickers were bullied. So they look up to someone stronger or with more authority. They're the same ones that told the teacher when somebody wrote a bad letter, a bad note, he called me dumb, teacher. These are the same bootlicking losers. And they're not going to stop. Why? Because now they have found a place to go. They're just as dumb as these people that ignore the real news, that ignore the facts, because it doesn't fit their narrative. But how dare anybody think that it's okay in America to have your freedom stolen from you because a cop cannot see a tag that he knows is 2 feet from him? You see, I didn't get arrested for resisting. I got arrested because I didn't lick his boots. The resisting was the reason. Because I didn't resist. Nowhere in that video can you see me resisting or delaying or obstructing. You are allowed to ask questions. If I'm not allowed to exert my Fourth Amendment rights or my First Amendment rights, then are we free or are we not free? Apparently, we are not free in America if a cop asks me a question that I cannot respond with a question. And if I would have had an opportunity to get that dumb tyrant pig on the stand, I'd have had him gurgling in his goddamn cornflakes. Because I'd have busted him lying every single time. And if you look at that body camera video and you go back and read his report, you can count the lies. And the ones that you can't see are the ones that are omitted. And that ain't over. It ain't over. Longview Police Department did exactly what I accused them of. They're corrupt. They're inept. Mainly, they're corrupt. They took a government document and violated a court order to return it to me. They were ordered by a judge to give me the body camera in its full form, exactly the way it was recorded, and they went through and edited all the video. And then they wrote the police report to match what they edited in. And even then, he got stuff wrong because he's a stupid liar. Like Judge Judy says, you don't have to have a good memory when you tell the truth. Oh, I asked him to get out of the truck, and he got out slowly and took his right hand and covered up the pocket where his gun and his knife was. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. He grabbed me by my left hand, and I got out just like this right here. I wasn't anywhere near my pistol. And here's another thing, guys. He was so worried about that little pistol. But he didn't see the 44 laying right beside of me on the seat. That one. That one. Just lays right there on the seat, openly. See, because the point wasn't to search me. He knew I don't have drugs. They know I don't do drugs. They know it. So, how have you ever seen a fishing expedition had nothing to do without the expedition? It just, they found what they needed. They didn't need to find the other fish with the big fish. All they wanted was the fish. They didn't want the drugs because they knew there were no drugs. They know I don't do drugs. They knew there was nothing else in my truck, so they didn't even bother looking. They didn't even get the registration out of my truck. They did nothing with my truck at all. They left it sitting right there till Tina got in it and moved it. They did nothing else with it. They didn't even care. It wasn't about the truck. It was about me. They wanted me. They wanted to make an example out of me because how dare I speak out? And the whole sovereign citizen narrative by the tiny tyrant douchebag Adams, him at the very bottom, sovereign citizen. This is a minor traffic stop. What's all that got to do with it? We don't know who he is. Channing. We don't have his ID. He wouldn't give his ID. Mr. Townsend. What do you mean? I thought you didn't know who I was. You got a YouTube channel. See, the bootlickers just ignore all that stuff. The bootlickers approve of law enforcement abusing people for their speech. And this is the same as the left. And most of the bootlickers are on the right. And that's a shame. Because the founding fathers were not bootlickers. The founding fathers never wanted a standing army in this country. They would have been completely against the military we have and law enforcement that we have. They hate it because they know the government always used the armed agents of government against the citizens. The founders knew that. And that's exactly what they do. They use this armed force against us. So, a simple traffic stop, yet they knew my name. I didn't see your tag. I didn't know who you were, but Channing, you got that YouTube channel. Cool story, bro. And in the body camera, and this is what people don't understand about body cameras. When you watch the body camera, they edited where Adams runs up and slams my head against the truck full force. My head bounced off. It made a hell of a noise. Bam! And I guarantee I can go to that truck right now and there's a dent. I guarantee there's a dent right there on the sail panel, right where the window comes to a point near the back, between the back and the hatch lid. Guarantee there's a dent there. That's gone. That doesn't exist. And when he punched me, you don't see it in his body camera. Why? Because he was this close to me. So you can't see this arm, my right arm swinging. But in Mason's video, that's why they want him to move back. They didn't want him to catch any more of their criminal actions. Because in the video, it shows him do this. Wham! And knock my legs out from underneath me. As I dramatically fell for the camera. If the camera didn't matter, and you're not worried about my First Amendment right, then why did you tell a 14-year-old to go all the way back to the porch? So he couldn't see what you were doing. The bootlickers can't think that fast. The bootlickers get stuck at pretty blue lights. Oh, pretty blue lights. Look at the pretty blue lights. I love them flashing lights. It reminds me when I was a kid. My uncle used to come and visit and we played dress up. I love them pretty blue lights. They love them blue lights so much they go to the local bar and have story reading time with children. Bootlickers are the worst among us. They are no different than the seals at the circus that all they know to do is clap when told. No different than a Jimmy Kimmel audience when the sign comes up, applaud. That's the useless bootlickers in America. And until that blue line stomps all, and they will, they'll say, all you got to do is listen, and that won't happen. Lie. The kid 2 years ago was crawling on a hotel floor, crawling, begging not to be killed, and that little prick cop shot him, unloaded, was it 5 rounds or 14 rounds? Killed that kid. On his hands and knees, crawling slowly, obeying commands. What about the other, what's the other one? Where the black guy was in the seat and his gun was beside him and he never even reached for it. Had a concealed carry permit to have that gun and they shot him dead and killed him. What about that? What happened to him? He followed all the orders. What about all the people in America that followed orders and it still isn't good enough? Because cops are trained. The only thing that matters is you go home safe to your family, but no one's else life matters. No one's else life matters. All that matters is you go home. Cops 30 years ago, you know what they would say? I'll give my life for this job. But now, we got a bunch of pussies scared to death walking around, and God forbid an acorn falls from a tree. We run backwards and unload into a police car, mag back in again and unload a second mag, and we say, somebody shot at me. He was shooting. I know he's handcuffed and we searched him and he didn't have nothing, but he must have found a gun in the back of that cop car that I just unloaded on. Acorns. The postman delivered mail every day, and no postman's ever killed a freaking dog. But cops in America can't go one day without 10 or 20 dogs being shot and murdered because, that chihuahua was dangerous. I seen its fangs. It ran right at me with its tongue out, and I knew that dog wanted to kill me. And it was either me or him. And I'm just not going to go home with a millimeter hole in my ankle. I'm just not going to do it. I've got to be there for my family. I just wonder, do their wives and kids really believe them when they go home and tell them stories about the bad man who they couldn't see his tag, so we got him? Do they really think they're heroes? We know they do. But their wives know better. Their wives walk around with black eyes because they know better. That's why in law enforcement, the spouses of law enforcement are beat at a 40% higher rate than the average citizen because they cannot control themselves. And when bootlickers tell them everything they do is good, it reinforces all their bad behavior. Watch my story. Read the summaries. And see, this just wasn't a regular traffic stop. This is retaliation. And it just happened to be 2 weeks after I said, guys, I let the time run out on my lawsuit for violation of rights under color of law. Just 2 weeks. But the bootlickers won't care. All you had to do was follow orders. All you had to do was listen, and then it wouldn't have happened to you like that. Bootlickers are brave online. But I met many of them, and they don't last long. They don't last long. God bless.